Namaste, Vijayananda Gurudev here from 1 by 0 Great Foundation, Mysuru. Today I am coming up with this review of Hiriya Kempe Gowda comic which is published by Prana Comics, scripted by Preetilata Nair, artwork by Shibi and layout by Priya. So the story goes back 500 years, somewhere in 1510 AD. The Kempe Gowda, the Hiriya Kempe Gowda comes into power, and then when he is born, he goes for education, he finishes his education, and then he and his friend, they decide to go around and see the other places in and around the current day Yelahanka, because Kempe Gowda was from Yelahankapura, the current day Yelahanka, where the new airport has come up after Yelahanka. So they travel all the way up to Hampi, because they were the Palegaras of Hampi, or the Vijayanagara Kingdom, and then they meet the king over there, and then they see the places and how the entire city is built, and they are amazed with the kind of irrigation work that has been done, the kind of the canal is built, and the Tungabhadra river water is diverted towards a city, to build a city to host a couple of lakhs of people, and the entire city is supplied with fresh waters. There are swimming pools, there are trade centers, and it's a flourishing city, as you all know. Hampe Gata Vaibhava is what we say normally in Kannada. So after seeing all these things, he comes back and he wants to build a new city or a new place for his people over here. So he plans, and he is confused as to how to go about it, and he needs money for doing all these things. So again he goes back to the king of Vijayanagara to raise funds. So fundraising is not new to Bangalore. The Bangalore itself, the current day Bangalore itself, has been built up on the fund or the seed fund given by the Maharajas of Vijayanagara. So he goes back and he pitches this idea that he wants to build a city in lines with Hampi, and then the king is very happy and he supports him. And he comes back. So he has now got things, and the main problem is Hampi is supplied with the fresh water from ever-flowing Tungabhadra river. But that's not the case with Bangalore, because Bangalore is at a height of 3,000 feet above mean sea level, and it does not have a river of its own. Meaning to say, to supply to so much of people, it didn't have the river. Of course, it had Arkavati, which flows from Nandi Hills down south, and two more rivers, Palar river, which also originates from Nandi. There are 5 rivers which originates from Nandi. They all flow more towards north and then take a turn towards Andhra, and then they flow south towards Tamil Nadu. But Bangalore did not have the concept of river system where they could harness and build a sustainable living. But Kempe Gowda always wanted to have a sustainable city. So the challenge in front of him was, he wanted to do this. So when he told about his dream of building this, he spoke to his mother or grandmother, I don't remember. So, and she suggested one thing called Kere Kattu Mara Nettu. Kere means lake, Kattu means to build, so build lakes, and Mara Nettu. Mara means the trees or the plants. Nettu means the process of sowing a seed and or sowing a small sapling and then helping it to grow into a big tree. So thereby the sustainable living can be possible. So this was the lines in which Kempe Gowda started building the new city. He understood the elevation of the city, because if you see Bangalore, the eastern part of Bangalore, that is more towards Marathalli, Whitefield and beyond, is all plain, flat kind of land with not much of undulation. But when you come more towards down south or the western parts of Bangalore, be it Rajanagar, Vijayanagar, Nagarbavi, or more towards north, the Malleshwaram, the Basveshwar Nagar or the Yeshwantpur area, it's more of undulation, so the contour is different. So they identified the current day high grounds, what we say, where we have the planetarium or the legislature house is there, the Vidhan Sabha is there, is the highest point in Bangalore with respect to the elevation. And once it rains, all the water flows out. So we have a small holding tank in Cubbon Park. I don't know whether it is still there or not, but I used to see that. So it used to get filled up, and the water from there will flow towards Sampangi Kere. There is a small lake called Sampangi Kere. I think it was behind the Pallavi theatre. I don't know whether Pallavi theatre still exists. So from there it flowed towards KR Market. There is a natural flow. So KR Market, even now when it rains, the Krishnaraja Market gets flooded because it is the lowest lying point. And from Sampangi the flow also happened towards Kempambudhi Kere. The current day Majestic bus stand, or the Majestic 2-layer exchange you have, the interchange of metro, is called Kempambudhi Kere. It was a huge lake, and it had been dried up, and I have not seen water there. My grandmother had seen water there. My father has seen it. So this is how they made use of this. And if you go to Basavanagudi, again it's on a small hillock kind of thing, wherein the water flows from what falls there on Basavanagudi flows towards Chennamman Kere, which is more towards and Hosa Kere. So many places in Bangalore are also called as Kere. Like we have Matti Kere, we have Arakere, and we have Chennamman Kere, and things like that. And then it flows into the system of Rushabhavati, which eventually joins Arkavati, which is a tributary of Kaveri. So Kempe Gowda designed this city in such a way that he made use of the rainwater, because I recently read about why Bangalore gets more rain is because of that Palakkad gap. There is a small gap in the Western Ghats near Palakkad after Thrissur. So the winds which carry a lot of moist air escapes through that Palakkad gap, takes a turn more towards Ooty, and Ooty gets rain, and then it blows all the way up to Bangalore. And since Bangalore is at a very high elevation, it cannot go forward, and then it rains there. So Bangalore is a very beautiful place, geographically located in such a way that it gets rains in both the rain systems, that is both southwest monsoons and northeast monsoons. So whenever there is a depression in Arabian Sea, we get rains in Bangalore. Whenever there is a depression in Chennai or Bay of Bengal, Madras area, we get rains in Bangalore because of this elevation and this Palakkad gap. Plus, we are bountiful in Bangalore. So making use of this elevation, Kempe Gowda was able to design the entire city, and he came up with a lot of petes. Petes meaning to say small dwelling places called Arale Pete or cotton, where cotton traders are there. Bale Pete, where bangles trading used to happen, or Manvarti Pete, Tigalar Pete, and so many petes. Now they're all part of the greater core of Bangalore. You can visit them. And even today, if you go there, since these are all built around surrounding lakes, they get inundated. And also, if you go to Victoria Hospital, there is a small fort entrance which you see. This fort was surrounded by water. So this is how the planning of Kempe Gowda ensured that Bangalore was able to sustain itself for almost 500 years. And beyond 2000, the greed and the need, and so many skyscrapers coming up, so much of population density increasing, and totally ignoring Mother Earth and her bounty, we have made Bangalore a mess. I think it's time to correct the decisions what we have taken, and then go forward. And even today, if you look at it, we receive about 21 TMCs of water through rain only, and our Bangalore requirement is only 14.8 TMC, meaning to say, when it rains, there is certain amount of runoff, there is certain amount of evaporation back happening into the atmosphere, and there is some amount of groundwater recharge happening, but then majority is runoff. So the entire requirement of Bangalore is actually can be fed by our average rainfall, which happens close to a meter of rainfall. It happens 950 to 1000 mm of rain. So this itself can suffice Bangalore. We don't have to do anything. And if you go to airport, the HAL airport, it is all surrounded by lakes. It was such a beautiful place, so naturally bounded by lakes. And if you take an aerial view or look into the aerial map of HAL some 15-20 years back, you can find all these lakes surrounding there. So it is time we give space for the lakes to regenerate, expand them back wherever possible, and ensure their recharge. So that is one thing. Coming back to our own way of living, our own habits of doing things on a day-to-day basis, we need to change a bit. So I'd like to take a minute and then explain. So we all know, like we have been using this for a very long time to apply foam before we shave. I've stopped using this since 2017, that's close to 7-8 years now. So because it consumes a lot of water once we start shaving, and that chemical is there in the water, and we also use a lot of chemicals in our washing machines, which end up in the drain, and you have seen lakes going on fire in Bangalore. So we need to reduce the usage of these chemicals. And earlier I used to use these kind of razors, which are plastic infused with metals, 3-blade system, 5-blade systems, and things like that. So this is not good for Mother Earth, not good for us. So I thought what my dad and my grandfather used to do, so I went back to this metal razors. So since 8 years I'm using this with a single blade system, and I have collected all the blades. I have close to 15 boxes of this blade, and one day I want to take it to a foundry and make a small tool for myself, either a hammer or a small tool for myself, because it's all high speed, high strength steel which is used. And instead of the foam, I've gone back to this Mysore sandal soap, which is locally produced in Mysore here, and it is just 2 kilometers away from my home. So my wife Divya goes and buys this soap, and we've been using this soap since we came to Mysore, because this is called presumption, what my other friend Ravi Shankar keeps saying: produce it locally and consume it locally, so that our city can be sustainable and our environment can be sustainable. So this is very good, and it also gives me, because sandal is a very good disinfectant, or it has got very good properties for skin. So make use of this sandal soap for shaving purpose as well. So this will help you. This is a 2-in-1. So it helps you consume less water. Plus sandal is known in our Ayurveda for centuries or maybe millennium. That is a very good thing. So this is one thing which we have adopted. And we use this lavancha berry, or the root of, there is a tree called lavancha plant, which we make use for scrubbing our body. So again, going back to Hiriya Kempe Gowda, what I felt is we need to come up with ideas which are more sustainable. And the fundraising is not new to Bangalore. Bangalore itself has been, the idea has been pitched by Kempe Gowda, and it has been sold to the kings of Vijayanagara, got funded, and this is what we are. So a plan which can work for 500 years can work for another 500 years as well, if we can make use of the contours, the elevation, and properly understand the hydraulics, how water flows, and how can we harvest rainwater. So this is an eye-opener for me as well. So if you want to buy this, tigercomics.in, you can visit, or please call me on 98805 48846. I'll be coming up with another some more series on each of the titles when I read how this can be applied to our startup world, and how it can make our life better. So thank you for listening to me, and this is Vijayanand Gurudev here from Mysore. Thank you. And Holi is coming up. Play with water, enjoy, also conserve it. Thank you. Bye. Namaste.